Hey, what's up, Internet? I'm back with Cliff and Ivy on for the second time on here. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Eric. Good to see you.
You too.
Great.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Hello. Beautiful.
All right.
Alaska.
So we'll get right into it. Your new album, Sinister Stars, comes out October 4th.
That's correct.
Is there any significance to that date, or is it just the date you chose to release it?
It's a Bandcamp Friday. You can
Bandcamp Friday.
buy
That
the
makes
record.
sense.
Yeah. It turns out that way. It was a good date for us to start. So
Yeah. There's so many releases of our genre out in October, so we figured we would at least make it early October. So
That makes sense.
sense.
Yeah. So what inspired the title of the album?
Sinister Stars is part of the lyrics of one of our songs. It is in our song Take It All Back, which is on Sinister Stars. And it's just a phrase that struck us and didn't, when you think about different things, and when I work with lyrics, I try to pick out an interesting phrase that really sticks in your head. So we figured it would sort of create a picture in your mind. And also sinister, people think it means, a modern meaning of it is like that's bad, or it's closed over or hidden or somehow threatening, but it really just means of the left hand. So
Yeah.
It's more so about a different look at life, which isn't necessarily a negative look. So, yeah.
All right. So why did you decide to do a cover of Will the Circle Be Unbroken?
it's an old family favorite of mine. So I had some losses in our family, and I thought it might be nice to bring that old fashioned vibe back. So we brought it back, but also I added a spin on it rather.
Something that the family always sings together and just gives us like a comforting feeling, but we wanted to do it our style. So we figured we'd try it.
Oh my God, you little psycho. Come here. Come here.
Yay.
All right, so what's the story behind the song Bloody Ghost?
Bloody Ghost is a song about it's really just a love song, and it's a song about the lyrics say forget me not in it quite a bit, and it's like a message from, like Cliff said, we had some losses in our family over the past couple years, right? So just really thinking about people who've crossed over, and thinking about how, the more you think about them and you dream about them and you think about what they would say or think about what you're doing now today, you wish you could talk to them again, that type of thing. And even though the title is Bloody Ghost, it was just, it sounds like it's again negative, but it's not. It's just a dramatic way of saying that, you feel the presence of your ancestors even though they've passed. So basically that's it. It's kind of like a story or a journey that evokes that, visiting with your ancestors and those who have gone before you in your mind. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's about.
So obviously the viewers haven't probably heard the album yet, but I do have to talk about this for a minute. What inspired you to do the version of Devil's Helpers with the Death Bongo Party? What inspired you to include bongos?
There's a bit of a
that's a story.
There's a cool story behind it, and it's really about the special guest that plays on it.
Right.
Devil's Helpers is a collaboration between us and Paul Rosler out in Los Angeles playing the synthesizer and producing it, and the guest drummer, which is Martin Atkins of PIL, Killing Joke, Ministry, et cetera, Pigface. Martin Atkins played the drums on it out in Chicago, and then he sent the drums to us, and we forwarded them on to Paul Rosler out in Los Angeles, and he put the whole track together. I sent all the guitars out there and the vocals and everything, and he did a bongo. So Martin has a studio, actually has a museum. It's the
Post-Punk Industrial Museum in Chicago.
Yeah, he has this museum out there, and so he gets all these things given to him for this museum. And one of his old bandmates, Paul Raven, had these bongos. So they were Paul Raven's bongos. So he played Paul Raven's death bongos, and there you go. So I had this extra track of bongos that Martin Atkins sent us, and so I had to make a track with it. So I was like, I'll do like the remix track, and so I'll just put it. I put a disco beat on it and put the bongos on there, and added some delay to them, and there you go. So you got the Death Bongo Party.
I don't think I've ever heard bongos before in your type of music, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Thank you.
We're just trying to do something different.
Yeah, it was fun.
We had to use the bongos.
The bongos had to go in there.
Bongo.
Well, I try to put it like a bit of a dub reggae kind of vibe on it. Like if you check out stuff, like some of that like 70s, 80s UK kind of post punk stuff has a bit of that influence from all the dub reggae scene in London and all that. So I mean, there's a bit of that, put a bit of a spin on it like that, there's a really great group called African Head Charge that you should check out if you've never heard them. They're really amazing. And On You Sound is the label, so you should check that out. And anyway, that's just that kind of thing. It's a real influence, like a deep influence kind of for us.
But did you run into any difficulties while making this album, either like technical or getting people together to work on stuff, or?
Sure. Yeah, it was a long process. We had a bunch of songs that we had ideas for. We're going to produce, and it started out with a collaboration that we did in. We did a collaboration in New Jersey with Jim Babjack from the Smithereens. He played lead guitar on one of our tracks called Reignite, and Brian Troisty played the drums, and it was produced by Kurt Reel. I brought the guitar and the bass and just the vocals and everything down to Jersey, and then we had Jim Babjack from the Smithereens play on it, and Brian played the drums on it, and then Kurt mixed it and finished it off, and there it is. Amazing track. So we started out with those, and then we had other songs. I had like a big collection of song ideas that were like, these songs have to get produced. So I'd record the guitars and the bass and all that, and sometimes record the vocals, and then send them over to Paul Rosler in Los Angeles, and then he would work on it. So we had maybe in 2023, we had about half the album done. Like we had 6 tracks. So we basically went into like winter hibernation, and I just didn't do anything for like 6 months. And then we're like, we got to get this album done. It looks so great, so we have to get this album done. So I started producing. Then I came up with the Devil's Helpers, and I noticed that Martin Atkins was available to work with to record. So he did a track, and then we just put together the other tracks here at home in our studio.
And we had some files that didn't work, so we ended up recreating songs live, right?
Yeah, in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, we actually redid the Bloody Ghost song. We redid that. Tom Coyne from 45 Grave. He.
I'm sorry if you can hear that.
Yeah, I can hear it.
It's okay.
It's okay. So we had Tom Coyne from 45 Grave play live on Bloody Ghost and Die Tonight. So we redid those songs, which we had already done like about 2 years ago. Yeah, so we did like live versions in the studio of those with Paul Rosler playing keyboards on it and stuff. It turned out great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness that stopped. That was horrible.
Sorry.
It's a lot louder there than it is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you released a couple of tracks as singles. How did you choose which ones that you were going to release as singles?
Well, we've had a few singles like we had put out previously. We put out Bloody Ghost and Die Tonight,
right?
And those were the original versions, the ones that I produced, and then we redid those in Los Angeles. Really, we really like those songs. We really wanted like a live band version of them, and then We Ignite, which is a great track. We put that out earlier. We had finished it in 2023, but we put it out earlier just because we were taking so long to finish this record. We need to get a single out so we can like hold people over until this record's done,
Yeah.
And then we have right now we're actually featuring the Devil's Helper song, and we're also featuring "We Live to Be Free," which is another song with Tom Coyne, produced by Paul Rosler, mixed by Paul Rosler.
A single just has a certain sound to it. Like we have all these things going and we know what our songs are sounding like, but it's more just like something that might have a broader appeal, maybe without some of our tracks are a little experimental and just kind of weird poetry and things like that. But we want to pick something that has a broader appeal in our mind, to be a single.
So. Right.
I'm kind of a weirdo. Like I used to work on like alternative rock radio, like in the early 2000s, like 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was a radio DJ on like Alaska's radio station, one of them, the Alaska station. And I used to listen to a lot of music. And so I started just trying to pick out what songs sound like a single. Like "We Live to Be Free" sounds like a single to me. That's like, to me, that's like a hit song. So I'm like, that's the one that's going out, Yeah.
They just have a certain sound. They just kind of hit you.
Yeah.
Some of them are catchier than others, I mean, some of them are more like album tracks and some of them have like different, have different feelings,
Yeah.
For me, but everybody has their own opinions about that. You know what I mean? So.
Ivy, you just alluded to this a little bit. Weird experimental spoken word poetry. I noticed that this track "Soul Garbage." Was there like the story behind that one? What inspired that?
It's a weird story. The year started out weird for me because somebody, I don't know how to put it without sounding so bizarre, but I'll just say it.
Okay.
Somebody that I knew who is a friend passed away in very early in January, and they were living in the house of a family member, and so I went over there when this occurred, and the family member discovered their death. I went over there to help out, and it was really like, I mean, I don't really get to spend time with a dead person at all.
Right.
That much. I mean, usually don't, unless you work in that field, right?
Yeah.
Come on, I'm telling the story. It was okay. I mean, everything was okay. It wasn't like I was not scared at all. It wasn't that type of thing. I was just trying to help out, and whatever happens after somebody dies, I wasn't really familiar with those things, but everybody was really helpful, and the law enforcement folks are really helpful, But anyway, it struck me that when you're gone, like just the total finality of it. Like you watch a lot of fake deaths on TV and like theatrical deaths, and you read about it, you're like desensitized to it, and you see all these images of war and all this stuff. But then when you actually sit in a room with somebody who you were talking to the other day, then it's just so final. And so that's really what it was, just thinking about that and it make an experimental poetry thing that just sort of messes with your mind, and lots of layers and things like that. The other song, the other track it's related to is also "Upon the Event of Your Death." And these are just, I know we have cat party here. So we've done a lot of different experimental things. We've worked with theater and background noises and hand-built instruments and things like that for theater. So, it all just sort of goes together. And we just want to make another voice piece that was just a complete and total
it's like performance art,
thing.
Just kind of a weird theatrical piece,
Yeah.
It's for fun.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the person who passed would have loved it. So,
that's good.
It was fun to make the music behind it too. I created that. I just had her repeat the lyrics 3 times. Do the whole piece 3 times, and that's what you hear. And it's just in the order that she did it, literally. And then I just added a little bit of effects to it, and you can hear my shoes in the dryer. That's what the music is. And I just added a whole lot of effects and just studio magic, and that's literally my shoes in the dryer, and that's what you're hearing. So.
That's awesome.
See, we'll take anything and make art out of it.
Yeah, you can make art with anything, really.
Absolutely. There's some days I'll be standing next to my washing machine and just, like swaying back and forth with, the beat of it, and I'm like, someone just remix my washing machine.
I know, I get that too. Like, I hear machines outside. That sounds great. It sounds like a song.
Well, she wanted the sound of a garbage truck, and I'm like, all right, we can make something,
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously, you know, this album is kind of complex and there's a lot going on, but like if you could sum up the message you're trying to send with this album in like a few words, what would you put?
I just wanted to make a great rock record. You know, it's just something that sounds like I had some really good ideas for songs, and I just let's produce those, and you know, and Ivy produced the lyrics, and there you go. So she made the all the vocals that you hear.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be hard for me to put it in a short sentence, but it's like this album, I really tried to lay it all out and go deep into experiences with you know, being transformed by passion, by love, observing the final endings of things and our culture, our society, how much it's changed over the past, you know, 5 years, and just acknowledge that we're all living in a different reality than what we expected. And some of us have only lived in this reality just for whatever reason because of our age. We're just, you know, we're new to this, you know, place.
I think it comes out in like a time of change, you know. So I think it just has a unique stamp on it, and I really don't know how to.
Right.
Yeah.
It means the left hand path, and I think it's more like a kind of a Kali influenced, more female influenced approach. I think that's kind of what we're doing.
And I hope it would lift people up. You know, anybody who was told that they were too different, too strange, you know, who they were wasn't okay, you know, not able to live the way you want, not able to create the way you want because people are looking down on you. I would hope that this would lift up people and let them know that whoever they are is what's important. Our audience is who's important. People who hear the music are important. Their creativity is important. So I'm just hoping that that would kind of scratch away at any of the barriers that people feel between themselves and their authentic self to be able to live and be accepted in the world. And there's a lot of that in there. I hope it comes out.
Absolutely.
We're like on the spectrum, so I feel like, you know, some of that probably comes through with just trying to do things differently, you know, and approaching songwriting a little bit differently, and just kind of, you know, coming at it with a little more maybe artistic, just our own flair of the way we do things. That's all. It's just so I don't know. It's hard to say.
Some of the songs are even a call to rebellion, you know, like Take It All Back.
Yeah.
It's our turn to be ourselves, and that's a beautiful thing. So that is what I wish to convey, really. Not just us, but the collective us.
No, absolutely. This one's a little bit off the wall, but if you were animals, what kind would you be and why?
I like that question. That's cool.
I think it would change daily. I think that's kind of like
animal class.
Which animal am I today? I don't know. Sometimes I'm like a bird, sometimes I'm a wolf, or sometimes I'm a bear, you know. It just depends, or like a, you know, like a sea animal, you know. You never know what you're in the mood for, you know.
Okay.
I wouldn't be a bird because I think I'm scared of heights. So
yeah, I like birds.
I would probably be. I'm trying to think of what did I used to pretend to be when I was young, like a cat. You know, I might be a cat because they're pretty cush. You know, they can get what they want, but they're also, you know, for the most part, sweet and loving. But they can be fierce too. So
for sure,
I like that fierce beauty type of thing in a cat.
All right, and I feel like you kind of already did this a little bit, but you know, just what do you want to say to anybody who watches this and checks out your album?
I would want to say thank you for watching us. There's so much out there that people can pick from. We would love to hear what you think about it. We would love to hear from you. You can hit us up on our socials. We're out there on all of them. And I would definitely appreciate that people would even take a second to check out our work. We definitely like make it with people in mind. We make it with the listener in mind, and we put a lot of effort into the songs and the songwriting and the song crafting. It sounds weird to say it just because it's just so involved, you know. A
lot of these songs I've had songs ideas from like 8 years ago that got used on this record. So we had like what I would say would be like, I don't know, to me were like aces. They were like aces I was holding for the time I needed to, like when it was the right time to produce it. You know, some of those songs, I mean, like more than half the record is songs from like, you know, ideas. You know, so you know what I would say to people is I would say, you know, do your art. You know, if you're interested, hopefully we're inspiring people to do other art. You know. And that's really because we're inspired by other artists that, you know, we see their visual art and their you know, the way that they speak, or, you know, if they're like a poet or just anything like, you know, music or just anything, we're inspired to do art. So, you know, we've seen a lot and experienced a lot in the world, and we're hoping to inspire some other people to do stuff and just get out there and do it. You know, that's what we'd like to say. You know, check out our record if you have time. You know, if you really like it, then, you know, then buy it, you know, or share it with someone, you know.
Yeah. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the record that we haven't touched on?
We work with Martin Atkins. We work with Tom Coyne from 45 Grave. Paul Rosler, of course, the great Paul Rosler. The Screamers. He worked with Nina Hagen. Just so many great people. He records amazing artists all the time. He like produces records constantly over there in Los Angeles at Kitten Robot Studios. Brian Troisi, an old friend of ours, played on it. My own cousin, Matt Thomas, played on it. He was in New Mexico, and he sent tracks on In the Name of Evil, and also in Liars on Fire, he played some drums on that as well. And so did Tom Coyne, so there's like double drums on that one. But anyway, yeah, we just had all these great collaborations, and we're super excited about that. And, you know, we're just going to be like, we're probably, you know, getting the record out there, and people can buy CDs, and we have T-shirts available now, and we have the records coming out October 4th, but we have literally like we're gonna have vinyl coming out in November.
Vinyl's coming.
Yeah, we have vinyl, yes. 12-inch vinyl, and Christmas time we'll probably have some colored vinyl as well.
Special.
Yeah, limited edition.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. And what else? We're gonna probably 2025 we'll probably be booking shows, playing around, and you know, we'll get out there. We just booked a show for Halloween 2025 already, so it's like kind of
nice.
We're already out there. We're actually working on the next record already.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be another Martin Atkins, Paul Rosler collaboration. So you're hearing it first. Yeah.
Nice.
Just layers upon layers of creative work to do, but that's fine. It's something that lives inside and has to come out. So
right.
Like, you know, we live in Alaska, so it's, you know, we have long winter months that we're just, you know, in the house all the time. So it's summer now, but, you know, soon it'll be winter.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to work on things in our studio. You know, but it's a joyful time too. You know, the winter time here, it's actually beautiful. Beautiful in the summer and in the winter, you know, just the scenery and stuff is so inspiring. And it seems like it would be limiting, but it's become I think a strengthening thing for us. We don't have, it's a little different for us in that we don't have, you know, club scene near us and things like that. We have a very small scene here. A few dedicated folks who, you know, are Midnight Sun Goths, a group that started up on Facebook and other socials, but it's just a local group. But there isn't a lot of, you know, live band performance, or even there isn't goth night here or dance night or anything like that. But there's a lot to inspire us in terms of nature and the darkness itself that comes in winter. And a lot of our creativity comes out at that time. And we get to plan fun things like our trips out of state to play. And it's just exciting. I'm looking forward to all that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for hopping on here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. All right. If you want to hang out after the credits, you're welcome to, but you definitely don't have to. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys, and hope you have a good night.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for having us again.
Thank you.
you.